What is up, YouTube? I am here today to talk about my competition experience, which was in April, like at the end of April, but I thought I would share my thoughts on it if any of you are thinking about competing, basically the realities of it. So we can just start at the beginning. So I started prep on February 4th of 2017. I did a 12-week prep. I prepped myself. I coached myself, didn't have a coach, didn't have an opposing coach, no macro coach, no nothing. Did everything myself, and it was tough. It was really tough. It's really hard competing, especially when you're doing it yourself. The only person that was really keeping me accountable was myself. And don't get me wrong, I'm a super disciplined person. Like I will get things done. I will do it, no problem. And I did, but it was just really hard to be like objective with myself, because of course, like whenever at the end of the week, like I decreased my macros, of course I didn't want to decrease my own macros. Like I was like, I want food, like I want, but I also wanted to look good. And so it was kind of something. It was just kind of like a give and take type of thing, what mattered more. And along with that, nutrition wise, I thought that I knew what I was doing. Like I did a lot of research. I watched other people's preps like multiple times. Like I went through Amanda Bucci's That Prep Life. I followed Marie, I followed Emily Duncan, Nikki Blacketer, Jessica Revelo, like literally so many people. And I just took their experiences and tried to apply it to my own. And I had done a cut the previous summer just to try and like gauge what my body would respond to, what types of cardio, what types of food, like high fat, low carb, or like just low calorie in general type of deal. And that cut was a really good experience because I messed up a lot, like a lot. But it was good to know that before I started prep. I still made mistakes during prep. It was my first prep. How can you be perfect during your first prep? You can't, or like any prep for that matter. Caught it. So yeah, it was just hard to look at myself and be like, okay, like I look flat, I need more carbs, or I had too many carbs this week, I need to decrease them. Just being objective and like being my own coach, I guess. I'm not like experienced enough to know what being flat looks like, or spilling over on carbs, and so I really think that I would have benefited from a coach, but I definitely don't regret coaching myself. I think that was a good experience. So anyways, tangent. I prepped for 12 weeks. I lost 12 pounds during that entire prep. I did a lot of cardio, and when I say a lot, I mean like a lot of like fasted cardio, which there are a lot of pros and cons to fasted cardio. It really works for some people and it really doesn't work for a lot of people. It just depends on how you go about it, and that's like a lot of what I've learned after the fact, of course. I did do fasted cardio during my prep. I just didn't really, I didn't want to like waste my food on it, basically, because I know like right after I'd be hungry anyways, no matter like what I ate, and so I wanted to save it for later so I could get that feeling of like fullness. And I think that's like also one of the things I really struggled with during prep, was like having that feeling of fullness. I missed that so much because you spread out your food during prep because you don't ever want to feel like hungry or your stomach's growling or anything like that, because that's not a fun feeling. But just not ever like feeling totally satisfied. Like, you can feel like kind of full and you're like, okay, like I know there's food in my stomach, but that feeling of satiety and like, wow, you know, like that's just something that's like, you're not gonna have that on prep, towards the end at least. Can't really tell if this is focused or not, but I'm just gonna go with it's focused. I had to change cameras because I was using my camera and then the battery was about to die, and then I can't find my charger, so I'm using my roommate's. So, talking about cardio. So, I made like a whole document about my bikini prep, all the cardio I did, all the food that I did, every single workout. I don't know if you can see that. Every single workout, all that good stuff, just so I could like look back on it. So cardio, I did hit cardio, so that's like 20 minutes. I would just like do sprints on the treadmill, and then I did list cardio, which is like 30 to 45 minutes of either like stepper or like incline walking. I like the stair stepper the best because I was able to go for like a long period of time and not get to, like my muscles wouldn't be like necessarily burning, I guess, but when I did like incline walking, my hamstrings were like on fuego, so that wasn't super fun to do for 30 minutes at a time. So then I also did circuit training, so like 30 seconds of one exercise, 20 seconds rest, or like 10 seconds rest, and for those workouts they were like full body circuit training, and I did that 4 times a week on top of like 3 to 4 and then 3, 4, or 5 sessions of cardio, along with training. So I went a little bit crazy with the training. I think I mostly liked the circuit training because I always did it with my friends. I did it with Shar and Kat, and so it was like fun to do because I had like people there doing it with me. And due to the lack of food and the massive amounts of cardio that I was doing, my heart rate got really, really low, just on the daily basis. And you know, as prep goes on, of course your heart rate's getting lower, because it's being more conditioned, but also because you're not fueling it properly. But that's just part of prep, and so because your heart rate is so low, it's a lot harder to get it to like get it higher, like make it work harder, because I mean your body just like doesn't really want to at that point. And so whenever I did do like, you know, cardio and stuff, I mean obviously your body like adapts to it, and so I was having to do things for a lot longer time, or at like a higher intensity for a longer time, in order to have the same calorie burn as if I were to do it right now, because my body was so adaptive at that point. In regard to like the whole thing, it was hard. It was really hard, and there were a lot of times that I was super hungry and I just laid in bed. I watched so many 10,000 calorie challenges just looking at all this food that people were eating. Like, my brain was on, like, I could only think about food. That's all I thought about was food and my training and prep. And I think because I was coaching myself and because it was my first time, that I was really consumed by it. And I mean, it didn't affect my grades or anything, but I feel like it did affect my relationships at the time, and there are a lot of things that, looking back on it, I could have done to prevent that, like not decreasing my food every week, you know, understanding that I'm just hungry and I'm not going to try and let that control my emotions, and, you know, because I was doing it like by myself. Of course, like my friends like supported me, and you know, my family supported me and everything, but it's like I kind of felt like I was in it alone in a way, just because none of my friends had like ever done it, and so they didn't really like understand at all. But I mean, overall, I think that it was a really good experience, and I'm glad that I did it because I learned so much from it. I learned so much about like training and body adaptations, and what macros that I need that my body really likes, and just a lot in general about the sport itself, especially on show day. I think also one of the hardest things about prep was that I had no idea what to expect throughout the whole entire thing. I mean, you can look at so many vlogs and things that people put out from their own experience, but until you actually experience it yourself, it's not something that you can ever really like you never know what prep feels are like until you go through prep. And so experiencing that for the first time, it was pretty tough. Like prep feels as in just, struggling to walk to class and just being like so tired and like not being able to like think very clearly, and like I was cold all the time. My roommate and I, we lived in the Alpha Chi house on campus, and like it was already pretty cold in there, but literally I would wear like sweatpants and a sweatshirt like all the time. That's all I wore, and I would sit at my desk and study. Like that's all I ever did. And it's funny because someone asked Shar, my roommate, one time, oh, like how does she look, like is she super shredded? And she was like honestly I don't even know, because she wears sweatshirt and sweatpants all the time, and it was like there was nothing I could do to like warm myself up. And luckily it was the spring, so it was getting like a lot warmer, but that's something I remember, just being like super cold all the time. Oh yeah, so just talking about like macros a little bit, like I decreased over the week and stuff, and like I am a vegetarian, so hitting my macros every day, there was like a few things that I ate every single day just to hit the macros. For example, I ate a whole lot of egg whites. I actually made this like this meal. It was egg whites, fat-free refried beans, hash browns, like the frozen. Sorry, my cat is playing. So if you hear that, it's just her. So refried beans, hash browns, like the frozen kind. It's basically just like shredded potatoes, and some Parmesan cheese. So that was really high protein, probably like almost 30 grams of protein, 30 grams ish, so that's pretty good. I ate that. I ate hella salads. Shredded lettuce with zucchini, asparagus, and Parmesan. I went through so many Parmesan cheese like containers, because Parmesan cheese has that like umami flavor, which basically is like really savory and good. Tomatoes, ketchup has it too, and mushrooms and stuff like that. So really flavorful, and so basically you don't need a lot of it to taste it. And Parmesan cheese is a like lower-ish fat cheese comparatively to like cheddar cheese, and that kind. Also mozzarella is as well, but Parmesan has a very like distinct and like strong flavor, so that was good. I ate I had vegan chicken nuggets for a while, which were really good, but those were pretty high calories, so towards the end I didn't. I would eat sweet potatoes. I had a lot of like processed stuff, and like by processed I mean like protein powder and all that right up until basically show day. I would have like 1-carb waffles with sugar-free syrup, so basically like protein powder, egg whites, and that's it. So like pure protein basically, nothing else. was a pretty boring diet, pretty much the same thing every day. I mean, I usually do that anyways, but I was getting pretty tired of it after 12 weeks, but it really wasn't that bad. I still I did carb cycling also, which basically I would have 3 low carb days and 1 high carb day. So on the difference between my low carb and my high carb was 100 grams of carbs, which is a lot. I kind of got that from other people that I've seen do it and had success with it. So every week it varied though, because I would drop my carbs, so it would still be the same 100 carb difference, but it would be lower each week basically. I really like carb cycling. I think it's a great tool to use when you are trying to lose weight, especially psychologically, because when you're in those low carb days it's really tough to have energy and all that, and the high carb days not only replenish your glycogen stores and make you feel full and have a lot of energy and stuff, they also are great psychologically because you're looking forward to that high carb day and you're okay, I can make it through these 3 days to get to the high carb day. But the day after high carb day was always a super great workout. And then the second low carb day was always the biggest struggle, because it's you don't really have the best pump anymore. You still have that full day and then another day, and then the third low carb day was not bad because it's okay, tomorrow the high carb day. So doing 3 days was kind of hard, but I really did enjoy it. I really like carb cycling. So that's how my diet went. I had no idea how to go about peak week. I know a lot of people say, peak week is where the magic happens and blah, 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 but I did not restrict water. I didn't water load. I didn't know how to, manipulate sodium and carbs in order to, make my muscles look full and all that kind of stuff. I tried to look up some stuff about it, but I mostly found stuff for male bodybuilders, and I didn't really think that I needed to carb load to the extent to which they did. But you live and you learn. Obviously I didn't really do that correctly. Would it have benefited me a lot? In the end, I don't really know. In the end, I don't necessarily think it was because I don't necessarily think I did not place because I had a poor physique. I think it came down to posing, stage presence, all that kind of stuff. So we can kind of talk about show day now. So show day was on Saturday. I got my spray tan on Friday, and man, I was dark. It was crazy. I just felt really sticky. That wasn't super cool, but it was really cool to see my abs being all shredded and all that kind of stuff. So show day, woke up at 5 in the morning. I did my own hair and makeup. I don't really like getting my hair and makeup done. I mean, I got my hair done for prom and stuff like that, but I think I can do a decent job at it, so I didn't really want to pay $200 for someone else to do it, especially because I already spent so much money on my suit. My suit was $400. Just entering into the show is $100. Your NPC card is $125. My heels were $30. I had to get a robe to wear backstage. That was also $30. I had to get jewelry, my earrings, my bracelet. I think that's it. Yeah, that was also $30, $40. Yeah, so it can add up a lot, and so I didn't want to pay for someone to do my hair and makeup, which, I mean, I know it's a big deal, It's fun to like do that and stuff, and if I had the money then I would, but I didn't really. I mean, I do have money, but like I just didn't want to spend it on that, because why would I pay for something when I can just do it myself, you know what I'm saying? So then I got ready and I ate a really weird meal, but you eat weird things on prep because things taste a lot different. I think personally, you definitely get a little bit of dieter's tongue, basically, which means when you're dieting, certain things taste a lot better than they would if you weren't dieting. So I wanted to have like straight fat, straight carb, and then straight protein, so I made egg whites, sweet potatoes, and peanut butter. I mixed it all together and I ate that. It was so good. At the time I was like dying. I was like, wow, this is amazing, but would I eat it now? Probably not. Anyway, so I ate that. We got there, checked in. I already had like my number, or maybe I got my number, I don't know. Anyways, had to check in, checked out the venue and all that kind of stuff, and by that time I was like 8 a.m. in the morning, and I didn't go on stage till like 1, and I didn't realize it would take so long. I didn't know that Bikini was like the last division to go, so we were waiting there forever. Like I was sitting there like on the edge of my seat, like sweating like crazy. I had to get like dryer sheets and like tissues, like dab my underarms, and like I had to pee. Whenever I went pee, I had to like hold a little cup with like a hole in it so I could go pee without like getting it all on my legs and like my spray tan, which, you know, sounds really weird, but like you gotta do what you gotta do. I didn't want to mess up my tan and have like streak marks or anything, or like little dots. That wouldn't be good. So yeah, it didn't go on till like 1 p.m. and so I'm like sitting there like not even realizing that it was gonna take that long. So like basically I was nervous for this whole time. Like my poor adrenal glands were like dead after this day. So I finally went on for prejudging, and I was nervous as heck. Like I did competitive cheer, and I usually would get really nervous backstage and, you know, feel the adrenaline all in my hands and everything, like that kind of stuff, but I had never been so nervous in my entire life. Like I felt like my whole body was shaking. Oh my gosh. So we did our individual routine and you had like 10 seconds. So I was worried about like taking too long. So I tried not to rush it, but I felt like I was really rushing it on stage. And then they pulled our whole class up and they did comparisons. Basically where each girl stands side by side. They ask you to hit your front pose, back pose, walk to the back, walk to the front, all that good stuff. And I got pulled to center stage, which, you know, well, hello. You would think that would be like a good thing, you know, oh, center stage, like you probably placed, you know, kind of high. So we got back to finals like around 7, even though they started at like 6:30, because I figured that maybe they would start early. I didn't want to be late since the show was in Arlington and I live in Fort Worth, so it's like a 20-minute drive. But there was also like a baseball game going on, which it like I'm gonna sound really dumb. The place where they have the baseball games, I don't know where it's called. It was right by the Arlington Convention Center, so I was afraid that if there was too much traffic, like we wouldn't make it, basically. But I didn't go on until 11 p.m. So just hanging out there for like 4 hours or whatever. That was like a long time also. I didn't really, you know, show day is kind of like a hurry up and wait type of situation. Didn't really realize that, because you look at everyone's like vlogs on YouTube and it's all like, oh, super glam and like going on stage now, like woohoo, you know, and I didn't know that it was like, okay, you're gonna sit here for 6 hours and wait for your turn to like go on stage, basically, which isn't a big deal. Like I just didn't know. And so then So my class was about to go on. I was class C, I think. Class C. I don't know. I'm 5'4", so I'm not tall, but I'm not teeny tiny either. So went on. Well, before we went on, this is what made me really upset. So before we went on, they wanted to speed things up because they were running behind, I guess. There was so many people competing there. I think someone told me there was like, honestly, I can't even remember. I don't even want to say it wrong. So there was a lot of people in general competing. And before we went on, they told us, okay, numbers X, 1, 2, 3, whatever, like y'all placed, and then numbers blah 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 didn't place. So the numbers that didn't place went on first, just hit a pose, and then they went off stage. So I was the one of the people, one of the girls that didn't place in my class. And so they told me that, and so, you know, of course, like my friends didn't know that, so I'm like sitting there and they're like all excited, and I was so upset, like so upset that I didn't even like place at all, because I was like, I work so hard, like I don't deserve this, like basically just being like really negative about it. I mean, you know, it's fine to like get upset about it, but I mean, because I did really think that I was working super hard, and I was working super hard, and so it's like, you know, just like the little things that I could have done better. I mean, I put off posing for a really long time. I didn't think that it was that big a deal. I figured if I had like a good physique, like it would kind of speak for itself, but if you can't present it correctly, like it doesn't even, like your physique doesn't even matter. And so I always, like during prep and stuff, I would always be like, oh, okay, well, I don't want to practice posing now because I know I'm just going to get leaner, so I want to practice when I'm lean. And that's not a really good mindset to have. I definitely should have just been doing it all along, because I definitely lacked in my posing and my stage presence. I mean, my whole body was shaking, and you know, I would smile and then I would feel like my whole like face shaking, and so I would like lick my lips and be like just constantly, because I was so nervous and I thought that the judges could see me shaking, but it was a lot worse to keep like not smiling and like all that kind of stuff. But I mean, now I know, I learned. It was just very, very nerve-wracking. Because, you know, kind of like backstage by yourself. Like I did meet a couple girls and they were super nice, but essentially like I was just kind of like all in my feels, making myself nervous and everything. But it was a good experience. After that, I didn't reverse diet out of it. I tried for like a week and I was like, I'm over this, like I'm tired of being hungry, like I don't even care. Like at that like point in time, I didn't have any intentions of competing again, because I was just so over it. I was like, I worked this hard for nothing basically. But looking back, it definitely was not for nothing. I would not be in the position I am in now, you know, mentally or like, you know, physically, strength-wise, all that kind of stuff, if I hadn't have done that. I'm so thankful for it. And in all honesty, I'm kind of glad that I didn't place, because I know that I did not reach my full potential. There are so many things that I could have worked on, and so many things that I wish I would have changed, that if I did place, then I would have thought, okay, like this amount of hard work, it equates to this place, when in reality there are so many things that I want to change and I want to do better at, and I want to like improve. Like I would have been like proud of myself obviously at that moment in time, like having placed and everything, but I know I can do so much better, and I know I have so much potential to reach. I think it worked out for the best. So yeah, I didn't reverse diet. I intuitively ate like for like a month or two, just because I wanted to give myself a break, because I was like really really stressful, and it was worth it, definitely. Over the summer I worked a lot on strength. I was able to hit 225 on squat for 3 sets of 5 at the end of summer, which was absolutely amazing. I think it was really cool to feel super strong and to be strong and not really care about what my physique looks like. To be honest, I don't even have, I mean, I have a scale, but I sent it home with my parents because I was like, I don't really need this. Like, it doesn't matter how much I weigh. It doesn't matter. I'm really happy with the way my body looks right now. I'm proud of what it can do. I am currently training for a half marathon, actually, with my best friend. So I'm excited to be doing that. Never thought I could run 5 miles, but apparently I can. And, you know, not super slow, but I'm not super fast, but that's okay. Doing it. It's exciting. Moving on to more bigger and better things. But yeah, if you have any questions about what I did during prep or want a more elaborate explanation, you can definitely let me know. Also, I got a cat. Her name is Poppy. She's kind of a mess, but she's super cute. And yeah, I'll be posting stuff on Instagram, so make sure to like follow me on social media and all that good stuff. And I thank you for watching this. Sorry if it got like super long, but I can ramble on for like ever. But thanks guys. Bye.